This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP Network.
Are you ready to go the distance with Trisha's Disney pick? Or will Melinda deliver a Jurassic-sized knockout punch with her universal choice on this episode of Theme Park Throwdown? Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of Theme Park Throwdown. You are here with me, Trisha, at Trisha Travels, and Trisha Travels 85 on Instagram. And
I just had to look at my script to see what my name was. Hi, I'm Melinda. I am at Melinda's Magical Adventures on Facebook and Instagram. Today, while we are recording, is May 5th. So happy Cinco de Mayo and happy Revenge of the 5th. For those who celebrate, it's a Star Wars holiday the past 2 days here between May the 4th be with you and Revenge of the 5th. My husband was saying to my son, because my son said that, we have to have Star Wars movie night. He said, okay, well, we need to watch like a Jedi-focused movie on the 4th, and then on the 5th, we have to watch Revenge of the Sith. So that's what we've been doing in my household.
I have not had a chance to watch anything today, but yesterday I watched the last 2 episodes of Maul that came out, so that was pretty exciting for me.
I haven't seen any of the Star Wars TV shows, any of them.
Okay,
I know.
Well, I think less of you, but that's okay.
I suppose that's acceptable. You have very high standards when it comes to Star Wars.
But to be fair, I've seen one horror movie, and it was the original Exorcist, so I have a long ways to go in that category.
Okay, then I can't. I just can't deal with you then either. So,
oh my goodness,
we've got some work to do, both of us.
It's true. It is. Right? We're always working on ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, anyway,
that's true.
So people know I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And if you haven't yet figured that out, I am a huge Star Wars fan. And if you happen to catch this on YouTube, I literally make my May the 4th purchase list like I'm planning a trip to Disney. And this is like my holiday. Like, I don't get a lot at Christmas I didn't get anything for my birthday. Mother's Day is kind of an afterthought in my household. So I kind of go all in on May the 4th. And I'm a kid at heart. I like behind me, there's a droid from the Droid Factory that I built. But
they're so cool though.
They are. And I ordered Lego because they were doing a special, and I got the set. This is a special set. It is the Darksaber handle from a show that Melinda's never seen because she doesn't watch the TV shows. But it's from The Mandalorian, which is relevant since the movie is coming out very soon, and I have my tickets already. So that was my big purchase. And let me tell you, Lego does it right. It was easy. I put stuff in my favorited list. I just added it to cart. I checked out. I was done in 5 minutes. I can't say the same for my Shop Disney experience. I went on at 8:51 a.m. Or no, it was 9:51 because they opened at 10 my time. And I was in the virtual queue, and I got in. I added everything I wanted, which really wasn't that much, to my basket. And then I attempted to check out 4 times with different payment systems, and it just wasn't going through. So I bit the bullet, tried a different browser, and I had to get back in line. So by the time I re-entered from the virtual queue, one of the item I wanted most was sold out, and I was very disappointed, but I got everything else, went to go check out, and I sat for 40 minutes with the screen that says, please do not refresh, do not click back. And after 40 minutes, I was like, something is wrong. And so I opened a new browser window. It put me back in the queue. And by the time I finally got in for the 3rd time, the 2 top items I wanted were sold out. And I ended up getting a couple of pins and a bracelet. And I was really
Yeah.
disappointed because like I had everything in my cart, and I am not a reseller, and shame on you for to resellers for selling stuff 4 times the cost to people who
Yeah.
like me were trying to get in there and couldn't get what they wanted. And I want to hear from you, like, does Universal have the same problem with stuff, or is it different there?
I I've never had an issue getting merchandise from Universal, but Shop Disney, like, online has a much greater presence than Universal merchandise
Mm.
online. I've always had a great experience with them. There've been several times where, like, I'll see somebody like, footage from somebody in the parks or a picture from somebody in the parks with, like, even annual pass holder, like, explicit? That's not the word I was looking for. What's the word I was looking for? Exclusive. Big difference. Annual pass holder exclusive merchandise, which you're not supposed to be able to buy online because you can't, like, they don't make you prove that you're an annual pass holder. And I'll call the merchandise team and be like, hey, I really want this. Can you get it and ship it to me? And they will. So I've never had a bad experience, but there is nowhere near as many people trying to get things online. And I can't ever remember a time where there's been like a drop, like on May the 4th or anything
Yeah.
like that, where everybody's waiting for a collection to come out. Like Universal just doesn't really do that. They don't have the demand for it, I guess. Or maybe they
Yeah,
would if they would try. But as of right now, they don't really have anything like that. So,
It
but I'm
sounds to
sorry.
me
I
like
know,
it's
I know you
yeah.
were really bummed and it was really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stuff, but it's just like it's kind of a bummer when you're like, "Oh, I was like right there in my
When you put that
grasp."
much
And
thought
then
and effort into it and you're so excited for it and it's like the one thing that you look forward to all
yeah.
year and then yeah, that's a huge letdown for sure. Get
Yeah.
on it, Disney. It's not like they haven't been through this before, for God's sake.
I do I think you make a really valid point though. Like it's kind of the culture that's been developed. Like I think I if
Yeah,
Disney never would have been like advertising or making all these drops and stuff, I wonder if it would be this maniacal, or if
it
they
wouldn't.
did pre-orders or something, and then on the
Yeah.
day, if you missed the pre-order window, maybe they would have a select number available to purchase online. But it's just the exclusivity of some of their items, and it's like,
Yeah. Like big lounge fly drops. It's so sad to be in the park and see a big lounge fly drop, like a parks exclusive lounge fly, and see these resellers go up and try to grab like
mhm,
10, 15. At least Disney has been putting limits now on how many of a certain item you can
yeah,
purchase because they're trying to dissuade these, you know, resellers from going and just buying out all the product and then, like you said, reselling it for whatever times the value is online. But I mean, I've literally seen somebody run into the Emporium and grab like 15 lounge flies and have them stacked going up and down each arm and run up to the register with them. And it's obvious that's what they're doing. So they've
that's
allowed it
crazy.
for too long. They've
Yeah,
perpetuated it by creating that culture. And then they've allowed the reselling and everything like that to take over and be such a problem for so long. So it's nice to see, like I
yeah,
said, now with a lot of drops that they do now, you do see them at least putting limits on things, but they
yeah,
still have
and
a
I
long
think
way to
that's
go.
appropriate. Well, who knows? We got the new regime in place, and I'm sure they've heard complaints enough.
We shall see, shan't we?
Yeah.
We've got Big Thunder Mountain Railroad open now again. It opened yesterday in the park. Did you see any of the videos
Yeah.
of everybody just like running like crazy through through Frontierland trying to get to it?
Well, and then, like, the rope drop line, it literally like, I
Yeah,
have farming
insane.
in my family, and it looked like cattle. The number of people.
There
Everybody's
were
just kind
so
of
many people. I haven't seen any footage from on the ride yet. I'm excited.
I'm refusing to watch any footage. I wanna be surprised, and I did
Yeah.
check the time yesterday, and honestly, after the initial rush, the longest I saw was about 60 minutes, which isn't that far off of
Okay.
what it was before. So
No, I'm really
they're moving
surprised at that.
people.
I guess so. That's good.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have made some change that increased capacity, right? Or am I thinking of something else?
Maybe. I don't know all the
I don't know.
details. Probably. We'll
I
say
could be
yes.
conflating
We'll
things.
just start making a rumor, right?
Oh, God. Can we not be those people?
What about a horror and makeup show?
I
There's
know.
some news
Yeah, so
there.
we got the news the other day officially from Universal that horror makeup show, this iteration, is ending. It is not going away in its entirety, thank goodness, because it is one of my absolute favorite things to do in the parks. It is a
Mhm.
must do. So this version is ending the end of this month, and it says it'll be opening later on this year. We don't know when. I am really hoping that it doesn't take too long and it's able to reopen for when we're there in September, because I
Yeah.
really would like to be able to see it shortly after it reopens because I am not one of those people that can stay spoiler free. I am so inundated with theme park content all day, every day, from every angle that there's just no way in heck I can keep anything, spoiler free. So I would like to be able to see it shortly after it reopens for myself instead of just having to watch the videos online.
Yeah.
So I'm sad to see this version go. It's so great. It's so funny. But I mean, I can imagine that the cast members are going to stay the same, and just that,
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, a lot of it is improv anyways, and so
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
plot points and things like that are going to change, and the certain scripted elements are going to change, but really you can see that show over and over again, and you're going to see a different show every time, which is part of the beauty of that experience, I think.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think and they have different people who do it. I've seen
Mhm.
they have staples, but I've seen
Yeah.
at least 4 different people throughout the course of the times I've seen it. And
Yeah.
I hope the things it has going for it is that the renovation is not as extensive as having to pull track out of a ride and replace it, so
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that'll make it a little easier. And I really do hope
Yeah.
they open. It would make sense for them to be. I mean, it sucks that an indoor activity where you can sit in air conditioning for a period of time is likely to be closed during the
I know.
summer. But it would make sense to
Yeah.
close it now versus during HHN, because it kind of
Yeah.
themes appropriately for Halloween.
It does.
So I would hope it'll be
It does.
open.
Yeah. Well, and now people are wondering, okay, in this version that we see right now, they talk about the Tom Cruise mummy, which, is not that great. Let's call a spade a spade. So there's people wondering what movies they're going to talk about now. So that I'm really curious to see. I'm sure there's going to be some betting going on as it gets closer to the reopening date on which movies they're going to focus on now. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
So
One of
lots
my
of things
faves.
on the horizon.
I'm just glad it's staying. I'm just really glad that they're not getting rid of it. I didn't think that was
Yeah.
a risk because it still really does have a lot of love.
Mhm.
But you never know nowadays what's going to go, what's on the chopping block. So I'm just glad that
True.
we're going to get some sort of version in the future.
Okay, moving on to a really fun topic that we've got for you this week. But we're going to look back at episode 12, the battle of best themed land in the showdown between Galaxy's Edge and Diagon Alley. And you guys voted, and the winner is Diagon Alley, which, okay. I would have been happy.
That was a
either
tough
way.
one. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I know I said this in that episode. I feel like those are two very comparable lands. I feel like they give the same feelings. They give you the feels when you walk into both of them.
Yeah. I think Diagon Alley is just a more connectable area for most
I agree.
people because they've read the books or they've
It's more
or they've seen the
recognizable.
movies. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So,
Galaxy's Edge is also trying to span several different movies and TV shows and a different,
yeah.
a span of time, where Diagon Alley is one area at one time when you see it in the movies.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a bit
But it's
easier.
also timeless, which is crazy.
Yep. I was talking to Trisha yesterday, you guys. I'm trying to plan out a new universal tattoo, and I was trying to find a way to fit the bank with the dragon on top of it in there, and I just couldn't make it look right, but that would have been kind of cool.
That'll be on the next one.
Sure. Oh, God. I just need to make a list now. You just booked an exciting appointment today.
I did, which I think is funny because you're the one that started the talk on tattoos, and then I was like,
I
I want to be creative and design a tattoo, so I did. And then I was like, that tattoo parlor is I almost said Disney Springs. They would never do tattoos.
Dang it. In City Walk, the Heart and Huntington.
In City Walk. Right, yes.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, so far, the experience has been really great. So it is, you were right, because you said you had gotten a tattoo there. And it's a nice looking one, too. The experience has been great. You fill out a form online, and then they send you a quote based on, like, you can put up to 4 pictures in their location, the general size, if you want color. And this isn't like, yes, you are now like, that's what you have to have.
Well,
like they have, it just gives them an idea. And then they send you a quote. If you want to continue with that, you have to make a deposit. And right now, I don't know what it was when you got it, but right now the deposit is $175. So it is pricey.
I think it was 100 when I did that, but I was in 2022.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
So yeah, I mean, not super long ago. That's a pretty hefty price increase, $75 in 4 years, but prices have gone up on stuff. But anyway, then you can adjust the photos. You can send them messages once you've put your deposit down. And honestly, the size and like the difficulty of the tattoo I want, I don't think I'm going to be in the chair that long. So I have a feeling I'll be on the lower end of their quote, which was like $350. So that means like my deposit has paid for half of my tattoo at this point.
Girl math.
So yeah. So it's half off,
Girl
right?
math,
When I
get
go,
there, and
it's
it's only $150.
Right. Woohoo.
Heck yeah.
But yeah. So I've got that scheduled, and I'm sure I could have changed the date. Like I just gave them the date range that I was going to be there, but I'm actually getting it done the day that we're doing express passes at HHN. And I was kind of like, oh, it's a midday sit down in the air conditioning. So,
no, it'll be
it
great,
should be fine,
honestly,
I'm
right before
thinking.
you have to like go into the parks, and it'll already have your adrenaline going, and
Exactly. And I'm getting it on my forearm. So I think that'll help. Like if it was on my foot, I'd do what you did where I'd wait till the last day. But with it being on my forearm, I'm not as concerned. And
you can
when I went to Star Wars I went to Star Wars Celebration in 2019. They have a tattoo alley with a bunch of different artists. And I went through the whole process, and I got a tattoo there on my, like the outside of my, just above my ankle bone. And I did that, I think, like midway through the convention. And it was the nicest tattoo. Like the aftercare, how they sealed it. They like put this like plastic thing that was sticky all. Yeah. And like, I've never seen that before. And usually it's just like,
I have a very love-hate relationship with that stuff.
Well,
it is great. It
really
does
well.
really help with healing, but I also absolutely hate it. So for bigger pieces, if you're getting like a smaller piece like that, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, mine was, not huge. And the one I'm looking at is probably going to be about a similar size. So I think it'll be fine. I'm used to like being somewhere away from home, getting a tattoo, and then having to like be at a hotel and take care of it and stuff like that. Not that you have much to take care of. Basically, just don't get it so wet that like, stuff starts peeling off. So
yeah.
I think it'll be good. I'm excited. I haven't gotten a tattoo since 2019 when I was at the convention. So
Oh, you're due.
it's been a hot minute.
You're
Yeah.
due.
So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Anyway,
All right. Well, should we actually jump into why we came here tonight?
it wasn't just to shoot the breeze. What? And drink margaritas. Well, today we're going to talk about vacationing on a budget. And God knows I need that after how much I spent yesterday. So I'm going to have Melinda kick it off with her Universal budget resorts.
Yes, I am. Talking about value resorts at Universal has changed a bit over the recent past. And so it might be a little bit confusing to some people as to like which hotel is in which category now. So for value options, we now have prime value resorts, and then we also have the value inns and suites. So prime value are a little step above the value resorts. So what I'm going to talk about today are just the value inn and suites. So I want to use the phrase bottom of the barrel, but they're not. They're still Universal on-site hotels. They're not going to be bad. They are still wonderful hotels. One of these hotels I stay at pretty damn often. So we're going to talk about the value inns and suites, and those are the Cabana Bay Beach Resort and the sister Endless Summer Resorts, which are Dockside Inn and Suites and Surfside Inn and Suites. So we're going to start with Cabana Bay Beach Resort. This is probably my second most stayed at property after Hard Rock, but it's also because it has only been open since 2014 and Hard Rock has been open a lot longer than that. So I've had a lot more opportunity to stay at Hard Rock, but I truly love Cabana Bay. It is an awesome hotel. It is the largest Universal Orlando hotel with 2,200 rooms.
Okay.
It has recently, in the past, I don't know, I think 3 or 4 years, had the addition of 2 new towers, which added a ton more rooms. It's like 200 more rooms each tower have now been added to the total rooms of the hotel. So it just keeps expanding. And I think that is telling in terms of how people feel about this hotel and the experience that they have and the value that they get out of it. The architecture of this hotel is inspired by classic Florida beach resorts from like the 50s and 60s. It's very retro vibes. You're going to see a lot of like wood grain, Art Deco, just really cool, fun. I love it. For some people, it's not their cup of tea, but I think it is so cute and adorable. And they take this theming and run with it, much like pretty much everything else that Universal does, down to the little VO5 shampoo bottles that are in the showers at the resort. They still have that old, I didn't even know that brand still existed. I didn't even know that was still a thing. And they're still there. Maybe they only exist for this. I don't know. But it's very authentic. And I just think it's absolutely adorable. Every area of this resort is just very highly themed and very cute. They have standard rooms and family suites, both interior entry and exterior entry, which is like the motel style entry. You can also upgrade to poolside rooms if you prefer for both the interior and exterior entry. They also have 2-bedroom suites that are available, and they do have Volcano Bay view rooms.
Okay.
Which are really cool. I don't know. Have you ever stayed in one of them or seen one of them?
I've never stepped foot on this property, to be honest. So,
oh, well, you're going to in September. That's where we're staying. But yeah, those rooms are really, really neat. You get an absolutely incredible view of the Krakatoa volcano. It's just really neat. So that is a really great upgrade if you're going to be staying at the resort. And the price typically is not that much more than a regular standard room. Speaking of your standard rooms, these are going to be 300 square feet each. They sleep up to 4 people. Every room has 2 queen beds. You don't have an option to do like just a king bed with a pull-out sofa or anything. Every standard room is 2 queen beds. These are averaging usually about $170 a night. That's just rack rate. That's without any sort of discount. Annual pass holder rate, typically you can find a standard room at this hotel for $115, $120 a night. So if you can use that annual pass rate or a Florida resident rate, which is usually pretty comparable to an annual pass holder rate, this is a really, really, really great value for a resort. Moving on to the family suites, these are quite a bit larger at 430 square feet as opposed to the 300 square foot standard room. These sleep up to 6 people because there are 2 queen beds. Then you have kind of like a partition, and then there's a living room area with a pull-out sofa, and it is a queen size bed once you pull it out. So it has the sliding privacy partition between the living room area and the bedroom area. So it really does add almost the feeling of being more of a larger suite where you can have separate living areas. You've also got a compartmentalized bathroom. So it kind of spans the whole wall. So you have the toilet in one room, then you can exit out a door. You've got the vanity and the sink in the center, and then enter into another door to get to bathtub, shower, another sink. So you could really have 3 people getting ready at once in this room and being able to use that bathroom space. So that can be really valuable as well, on top of being able to sleep 6 people instead of just 4. Another huge plus with these family suites is that there are kitchenettes in each of the family suites with a mini size refrigerator. It's not just a beverage cooler, it is a mini refrigerator. It does get down to like that certain temp to be able to be food safe. They have a microwave and they have a sink. And then there's quite a bit of like cabinet space, and there's a little counter that's almost like an island that you can sit at. So there's a big difference between a standard room and a family suite for not a big price difference, because these family suites are averaging right now about $250 a night, which is a steal to be able to sleep 6 people. And to have a kitchenette. I think that's huge. So that's what we'll be staying in September, is a family suite, because we're going to have 4, maybe 5 of us in there. So that'll be great.
I have to say, I love bathroom layouts where the sinks are outside of where the toilet is. I hate it when everything is
Totally
in
agree.
one space. It's like, it's the only time there's a line that forms in the bathroom with my family.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It is really inconvenient. So I love the way that they have these laid out. Absolutely. For food in this resort, mainly you have the Bayliner Diner cafeteria, which is this massive cafeteria area. You've got your grab and go section, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different like stations that are going to have rotating menus, something different for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have a huge selection, good quality food. This, I think, is probably the best resort for families, if not for anything else, but this Bayliner Diner. And I know I've said this before as well. There are just so many options if you've got picky kids or just kids who are, are particular. Everybody's going to be able to find something that they want at this cafeteria. It's really great. On top of this, you've also got a milkshake shop, which is really cool. It's milkshakes and ice cream. And you can get boozy milkshakes as well if you are of age, and they are delicious. They have like an alcoholic banana pudding milkshake that 1 will knock you on your ass, and 2 is absolutely delicious. So that's a great addition to this hotel. They also have a lobby bar, which is really cute and fun and very heavily themed. Then there are 2 pool bars because there are 2 pools. There is a lazy river, an arcade, a Universal Studios store, a full Starbucks, not just like we serve Starbucks coffee. There's a full service Starbucks in the lobby of this hotel.
Wow.
You have a full bowling alley in this hotel. That is an additional charge. And typically, you should probably try to make a reservation if it's a busier time of year. Most of the time now, especially now that the hotel's getting a little bit older, you'll be okay with just walking in, but just be aware that you may have to wait for a lane. A huge plus at this hotel is the Jack LaLanne Fitness Center. This is absolutely massive. If you are somebody
Okay.
who likes to go to the gym while on your trips, this gym is stocked. I do too. I do too. It is huge and it is stocked. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. So, Jack LaLanne Fitness Center, huge plus. There is an Avis car rental desk, which can make certain, aspects of your trip a lot more convenient. I have used this in the past. We have family that lives around-ish the Tampa area. And so we flew into Tampa and stayed there for a few days, rented a car, and then drove to Cabana Bay, just dropped the car off at the hotel, stayed at Cabana Bay for a couple days, and then flew home from Orlando. And so it made what could have been kind of a chaotic exchange with the car and everything like that very easily done because we just drove the hotel and we were done. So that's a really nice aspect about it. A huge advantage to this hotel is its proximity to Volcano Bay. So if you are going on a trip and you know that you're planning on spending some time at Volcano Bay, this is absolutely the hotel to stay at. You have a dedicated entrance just for Cabana Bay hotel guests. It is like a 2-minute walking path to get you into Volcano Bay. And then, like I said, you also have those Volcano Bay view rooms. So if that's going to be a big aspect of your trip, that really kind of puts a nice little bow on it to be able to have that view out your window and just add to that experience. Transportation to the parks from this hotel. You're going to have your bus transportation like all the other hotels. You can brave your way across the street and jump on the Sapphire Falls water taxi. It's only a 5-minute walk across the street, not even. Or there is a walking path to the Legacy Parks, which is about 15 to 20 minutes on a good day if you're going to hoof it from Cabana Bay to the parks. That I do that. I don't mind that far of a walk. Usually in the morning. Usually at night I would much prefer to take a bus or take that water taxi, but in the morning it is a nice, very peaceful, serene walk to get you into the park. As with all of the on-site Universal hotels, staying at this resort gains you early park entry, so you get that extra hour into the parks at the beginning of the day. And one of my biggest tips for this resort is to request your room location, depending on what your main objectives for this trip are. If your main objective for this trip is to spend as much time in the Legacy Parks as possible, request a room near the lobby. This, like I said before, is an absolutely massive hotel. It is going to take you a long time to walk from one end of the hotel to the other if you have a room that is far away from the lobby, which is where the buses pick you up, which is where the walking path starts, which is where you have to go if you're going to jump on that Sapphire Falls water taxi. If you want to spend a lot of time at the pool, again, you can request one of those poolside exterior entry rooms, and that's great. If you want to take advantage of the lazy river, because there's only one lazy river, although there are 2 pools, so you don't necessarily want to be a poolside room, but at the pool where they don't have the lazy river. So take a look at a map of the property if you're planning on staying here, and just kind of ask yourself what's going to be the best fit for you and your vacation. And they don't guarantee honoring those room requests if you make location requests, but usually they're really good about it. So that's the biggest tip I can give for this resort. Another thing that I will say is that the check-in lines for this resort can be hefty and can take a while. So pack your patient pants. I know it sucks, but it is, again, because it's such a large resort. So if you walk in and you see this massive line for check-in, just know everybody's there for the same thing. They're going to get you through the line. You just got to suck it up and deal with it. I'm sorry.
I was thinking, get
But
a
it
boozy
can be a little
milkshake while
crazy.
you're waiting in line.
Absolutely. Great idea. For sure. Go to the lobby bar
I like
right
that.
there. Go and grab a drink. Yeah.
That's funny.
You soak in the vibes while you're standing there. But it really is a wonderful hotel. I absolutely love it.
I'm looking forward to staying there.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, seriously, for the price, you absolutely cannot beat it because I don't feel like it feels like a value hotel. I would put this more in a moderate category if I'm comparing it to like Disney and the way that they categorize their hotels. I would
Okay.
compare Cabana Bay maybe to like a Riverside-ish.
Okay.
So I feel like with the way that they now have reorganized these categories, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't know that it necessarily fits the way that it should. And it doesn't make
Okay.
the most sense, but it is what it is. So we're going to move on to Dockside and Surfside Inn and Suites. I'm going to talk about these kind of as one entity, just as Endless Summer Resorts, because they are very, very similar to one another. These are the real value hotels at Universal. These are going to be the hotels that are going to be comparable to like your All-Star Music or your All-Star Movies. But the only real difference between Dockside and Surfside are that they're on opposite sides of the road. They're different sizes, not the rooms, but the number of rooms in the properties and a bit of the theming, but just a different type of theme, not how highly themed they are, I guess. Both of these properties opened in 2020, so they are very new still. Dockside is a bit more of a like serene, chill vibe. It really is like you're on the side of the dock and everything is kind of calmer and just more peaceful, I guess, where Surfside is more bright and fun and colorful with surfboards everywhere. It's definitely it's appropriately named. It is the surfer vibes. So if that sways your decision one way or another, there you go. That's kind of the main differences between the two of them. Dockside has 2,050 rooms. Surfside has 750. So again, that is the only other difference between the two properties is that Dockside is going to be quite a bit larger. These have standard rooms and 2-bedroom family suites. So these are not like the family suites that we just talked about at Cabana Bay. These are 2 separate bedrooms instead of just the partition like at Cabana Bay. So the standard rooms are 313 square feet, both at Dockside and Surfside. They have 2 queen beds. Again, king bed is not an option. It is just 2 queen beds. They sleep 4. An average is about $140 a night rack rate, which is, I mean, that's a fantastic price. You can't stay at the Holiday Inn near Universal for $140 a night. And then now if you're staying at Dockside and Surfside, you're staying on property and getting all the perks of staying on property. So if I ever get a client that comes to me and says like, oh, I don't know if I want to swing for an on-property stay, I'm like, you do, because let me show you some price comparisons. And it's a no-brainer. Absolutely. So, and for these rooms, if you have a Florida resident rate or an annual pass holder rate, I have seen these rooms as low as $80 a night.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, no brainer. These 2-bedroom suites are awesome as well. They are 440 square feet, so quite a bit larger than the standard rooms. The main bedroom is going to have 2 queen beds, and then you're going to have a separate door with another room with 1 queen bed. So it does sleep up to 6. These, again, have separate bath and vanity areas, so you've got a lot more space for all those people that are staying in your room to get ready at one time. And these also have a kitchenette with a mini fridge, a microwave, a sink. And these rooms also have these really large picnic tables with benches, which can be really great for families. I have personally never stayed at either one of these resorts, but I have done a tour of them. And that, I think, was the coolest thing to me was just how nice that would be, especially since you have that kitchenette. So this is something that makes like breakfast with little kids so much easier, to be able to store stuff in the kitchenette, get it ready in the morning with your microwave, and you can request a toaster if you want to get a toaster, and to be able to sit the kids at the picnic table, or the adults if you're taking care of the adults too, because some of us need a little extra help in the morning. And just being able to have that dedicated space and not have to worry about like the kids getting crumbs all over the bed and stuff because they're eating on the bed, or that's a really nice addition to these rooms, I think. And these 2-bedroom suites are going to average about $230 a night. So again, a really, really great price point for these hotels. My sister and her husband, and she's got 2 young daughters. She's got, at that point, it was 2 under 2, stayed at, I believe it was Dockside before Christmas last year. That was my Christmas present to them, as I bought them a couple of nights at the hotel. And it was really great for them with the kids, because they could put the kids in the bedroom with the door and close the door, and not have to worry about like waking them up in the middle of the night when they have to get up and go to the bathroom, or being super, super quiet to make sure that the kids stay asleep. And so that's a really, really great advantage to either like a situation like that, families with kids, or if you've got 2 sets of couples wanting to share a room, but still kind of wanting separate spaces, that can kind of create a bit of an awkward feel sometimes. And this is a really great way to get around that for a really low price point. This resort also has a gym. Yes, all Universal resorts have gyms. Disney, even the value resorts have gyms.
Wow. Fancy.
This resort also has an Avis car rental desk, like we talked about before, an arcade. There is 1 pool at each resort. Each resort has a Starbucks in the lobby. Dockside has the Pier 8 Market in terms of food, which is a quick service food option. They also have grab and go options and things like that. And then very similar in Surfside, it is the Beach Break Cafe. So neither of these properties have a full service dining option, but they do have quick service options. Dockside has a lobby bar, but Surfside does not, probably just because of the size of it, because Surfside is so much smaller. There is a pool bar at each hotel. The only transportation for these hotels is the buses. These 2 hotels are set kind of in the middle of the Epic property and the North Parks, the Legacy Parks. So that can be kind of advantageous if you are doing a trip where you are doing both Epic and the Legacy Parks, because it's not going to take you quite as long to take a bus to get to Epic as if you were staying at one of the other on-property hotels. But you are going to have to take a bus. You can't take you certainly can't walk, and there aren't any other transportation options. But you do also get the early park entry, as you do with all of the other Universal resorts.
Wow.
So those are our Universal value inns and suites.
That's a tough act to follow. And thankfully, I'm not talking about the Fort Wilderness campgrounds, because that would just be an automatic loss right there.
That for a second. The ridiculous that is camping at Disney World. And I don't mean RV camping. I don't mean cabin camping. I mean, you are paying for a plot of land that you have to put up a tent on. And you are paying like $100 a night.
Yes, to sleep on the ground.
To put up, and they don't give you the tent either. You have to bring your own tent. It's just absolute ridiculousness.
So if you are thinking, you're thinking, how can I save money? Just pay a little bit extra and stay at actual resort that's a value. I'm just going to say
Please.
that much.
Or come to Universal.
Anyway, so just a couple like quick notes that apply to all of the value resorts on Disney property. First of all, lotion is back. This was a huge
Yay!
thing. I have
For
my
you,
like
I was.
home. Yes, I have my home products that I use. However, when I'm on vacation, I try to make it a point to pack a backpack and a carry-on and nothing else. So I rely on the hotel amenities like shampoo,
Yeah.
conditioner, that kind of stuff. It might not be the same quality of what I use, but I'm like, 4 or 5 days, it'll be fine.
It'll do.
So
Yeah.
when I stayed at All Star Sports by myself last year, I walk in and I'm like, "Where's the lotion?" And I went down to the like store. The only lotion they sold was like Preparation H, and I was like, "Not what I need."
That is crazy, though.
I know. So I'm glad it's back. It is, and I don't know what it's like at the values for Universal, but it's like the bulk where it's like locked into the wall so you can just pump it, but you can't take it with you. I know you said that
Yeah.
the mini bottles at Cabana Bay, but is that the large pumps? Is that what they have at Surfside, do you know, and Dockside?
I don't know. At Surfside and Dockside, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Probably because that's how the majority of the other Universal hotels are now. So I would imagine so.
I'm just going to say, I do miss being able to take home those little bottles. It just felt like you were winning at something, but whatever.
Yeah.
There are pools, but none of the pools have slides. There are no hot tubs at the Valley Resorts. There's also,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's no sit-down dining, but they do have dining options, which I'll talk about. And then, like Melinda said, we don't have gyms at the value resorts, but they do have running trails because Disney is known for its Run Disney events. So there are like running, walking trails that are really nice. They are very well like maintained. So if you want to be active more so than walking through the parks, that is an option that you have. So I'm going to start kind of on level of like increasing in niceness, for lack of a better way of saying that. So All-Star Sports, and it actually coincides with when they were built as well. So All-Star Sports and Music were the original value resorts built in 1994, and Movies was added in 1999. Now, you're talking about the size of Cabana Bay. The total number of rooms at All-Stars combined is 5,500 standard rooms plus 215 family suites that you can find in the music area. So that's like
crazy.
5,700 rooms. So
that's insane.
That does sound like a lot. It is a lot. The beauty of this resort is that each resort is kind of its own entity. There's like a driving lane in between like the themes. So kind of you can cross over, but if you don't want to be doing a ton of walking, you can get everything you need at the theme you're at. Which again, those would be music, movies, and sports. The average cost is a little higher than what you're going to find at Universal. For a standard room, the range is usually $150 to $170, which I just want to put this in perspective, and that's a rack rate. There is a deal right now where you can get rooms for as low as $99 a night.
That's awesome.
Depending on your package type. So if you're interested in saving a bunch of money, this is like, reach out to one of us. But the thing that I want you to keep in mind is that if you have a vehicle, you do not have to pay for parking at Disney resorts.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. You got me there. I forgot to talk about that. Parking at Universal is just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's so expensive. It's like $28 a night if you're staying on site. It's
Yeah,
absurd.
it's
Don't do
like
it.
and that's not just Universal. Like Disney is the exception to the rule in Florida.
They are.
They did
They are.
they did trial a period where they were charging for that and that there was like an uproar, and they actually removed that.
Yeah.
And I think that's appropriate. Like we pay enough Disney. Like
Yeah.
so just
Well,
something
and
to kind of
also,
keep in mind.
okay, I'm gonna prop Disney up a little bit here too, like I shouldn't be doing. But if you're staying at Disney and you have a car, not only do you not have to pay to park at the hotel, you also don't have to pay to park at the parks, right? If you're staying on
It
site.
depends on what type of ticket. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's true.
Okay. Do you have to have like a
So
package deal?
I think so.
Probably.
I'll
Your
have to
room
double
and
check
your
that.
room
And
and your
there's
park
certain
tickets have to be linked.
and there's certain things like if you have an annual pass of a certain level, that
Sure.
also includes parking in certain ways. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I mean,
honestly, I feel
seriously, that can be so expensive. So that's a huge plus for
yeah.
Disney.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the square foot, I was kind of like listening in and comparing it. The standard rooms
Mhm.
are actually smaller. They're for all resorts, they're like 260 to like 275 square
Okay.
feet. But the family suite, I think might be a little bit bigger. It's 520 at Music.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot
So you do
bigger.
get more space. Yeah. Um, Dining, it's each of the themes has its own food court, and it would be world premiere at movies, intermission at music, and end zone at sports. So they try to keep it like themed, kind of like Cabana Bay. It's very themed, like over the top theme. All of the value resorts, you're looking at like 4-story footballs in the sports section, and like
Yeah.
a giant like Toy Story
Foosball
characters and
flavors
movies.
and yeah.
Yes. So if you're looking for photo opportunities, all of these resorts are great options for that. I think they're great
Yeah.
if you have younger kids or people who are just like huge Disney fans. They may enjoy spending time at these resorts. Each of the three, and this goes for both the other two I'll talk about in a bit, they all have their own shopping their store. They all have an arcade. There are 2 dedicated pools per themed area in All-Star. One is like a featured pool, and then one is more of like a quiet
Mhm.
pool. The featured pool is usually where you'll find a pool bar, there'll be music, they'll do poolside activities like around usually it's like between like 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Um, my favorite is the movies because that's Fantasia's themed.
Yeah.
So they have like a Sorcerer Mickey and he's like shooting water.
My fave.
Yeah, so it's cute. Transportation is bus only. And I know that sounds terrifying, especially with the size of Disney. But I remember I stayed at All Star Sports when I was like 12. And I still remember how bad the buses were at that age. Like, there's things that scar you, and that was a scarring experience. But
Yeah.
when I stayed there last April, it was managed beautifully. They had
Okay.
buses in the mornings to get you to like rope drop on time. It just ran better. So they definitely have figured out the transportation piece. So don't let bus transportation be a dissuasion if you're thinking about, well, I can either stay on site because that's what I can afford, or I stay off site. Consider it. It really is a great
always stay on
feature.
site. Yeah.
Now, pretty much all Disney resorts across the board, they're going to have like movies under the stars, some to all nights of the week. They'll have potentially a campfire. They have like I said, poolside activities. It's like trivia and games and stuff like that. And it's meant for all ages to participate in. They often will have like a paid for activity. A lot of times it's like tie dye or like making bracelets with a big like plastic pony beads or something. But just something that I thought, there were a couple things that I thought were kind of cute about the All Stars. They highlighted silent disco, which I recently experienced for the first time this year. And I'm like, this is actually kind of fun. So that's something you can do. They have like at night, they have these like glow parties by the poolside. So like, um, they have special event DVC Disney Vacation Club owner events called glow night, and it's usually at a water park. And if you're not a DVC owner, like this could be a fun way to kind of get that feel at a pool, and it doesn't cost extra. And then I just found this out, and I think this might be a newer activity. The mosaic craft is like growing in popularity across the resort. I did it at where did I do? Coronado, and we had Mickey shaped heads, or Minnie, because it had like a little bow, like that was the outline. They have music notes that you can mosaic tile. So I thought that was really kind of fun. A couple tips. Music is in the middle of the 3 themes. So if at the end of the night, like your line is really long and like music isn't, you can get in line for any of the buses. You might have to walk a little bit more, but that's kind of a nice one to have in your back pocket if you just want to get back to the resort and it's taking forever for your particular resort bus to show up. I also really like the vibe at Music. Their pool.
That's the only
has
one
a really
I've
nice.
stayed at.
The pool is a nice like
only one
bar. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's got like calypso theme around like the guitar shaped pool. I like that one the best. But I like the pool at movies, and then like I don't know, like I grew up on Disney movies, so like the movie theme really like brings out nostalgia in me. I'm a huge sports fan, but it just doesn't hit the mark for me. Like I don't want to stand next to a 4-story football. It's just like not my thing. One thing to be aware of is that this particular, like the All-Stars are generally very busy during like high school sporting seasons because a lot of kids like cheerleading dance teams will stay there. Yeah. So just be prepared that it could be pretty chaotic at times with that. So our next value is Pop Century, and that was built in 2003. There is a hourglass-shaped lake, thus named Hourglass Lake, and it is on one side of the lake. And then Art of Animation, which was originally supposed to be the second half of Pop Century, is on the other side. So they're sort of like mirror images in terms of like their layout, but there are some differences. So with Pop Century, there are 2,880 rooms, 2,880 rooms. So a little bit closer to like the Cabana Bay size. They do offer preferred rooms, which are going to be closer to the lobby, the center of the resort, which also puts you closer to the Skyliner hub. So if you're wanting convenience, the preferred rooms would be a better option for you to stay in.
I'm going to butt in. Do this.
Yeah.
Do this. This resort is so huge and so like splayed out. It is absolutely worth the extra $30 a night to get a preferred location.
Yeah. So that would be kind of like your 60s room. The theme is a decade of 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. The 90s are basically in a different like zip code. So just be aware that's going to be your longest walk, is going from the 90s buildings. The average cost is like $200 to $300 a night. It varies greatly depending on the season. The reason these generally have a higher cost, even though the room size is comparable to All-Star, it's on the Skyliner. So you have bus access to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, and then you have the Skyliner access to Epcot and the studios, which is the same for the mirror image, Art of Animation. They have a really nice food court. It's called Everything Pop, which is also the name of their store, which can be confusing, but it's all just one giant space. There's a partition. You're like, boom, I'm here.
You walk through the store to get to the restaurant, basically, or the cafeteria.
Yeah. I'm disappointed in some of the renovations. I thought they did a nice job renovating the dining space. I hate that they took down the decade timeline of all of the different things from each decade on the wall, and now it's just like
Yeah, it
colors
lost some
and
theming.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed at that. But one thing I do like about this resort, especially if you're traveling as a party of two and you share a bed, there's a Murphy bed and a standard bed in the rooms. And so with the Murphy bed, if you don't need it, you can just leave it up and it gives you more floor space.
Yeah.
Something to be aware of. We don't have the lovely picnic table and things like that. The rooms, like I said, are a little bit smaller. So a lot of these rooms, the Murphy bed, the table is the bed support. So when
Is
you
the
have the
Murphy bed?
second bed down, yeah, you will get crumbs on your bed because that's your table now. So the other thing too, we don't have refrigerators in the standard rooms. We just have like beverage coolers. They look like mini fridges with a glass front. They they keep things relatively cool, but not technically like refrigerated cool. So one of the
Yeah.
things that people question is like, if I have refrigerated medication, can I put it in there? Will it be safe? The answer is, I can't say yes with a guarantee,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So something to be aware of. This resort has 3 pools. It has their main pool in the center by Classic Hall is the Hippy Dippy pool. It has flowers that shoot water. That's where the Petals pool bar is. It's a really fun place. There's like a separate splash pad area for younger kids. I would say some of the things that are unique in terms of activities about this resort, again, these are an additional cost, but they're very minimal. They have a marble painting where you get a vinyl record and then you like put marbles in paint and then you like roll it
Oh,
over the
yeah.
record. So that's kind of a unique thing. And then they also have these mini bowling pins that you can paint as well.
Huh.
The activities vary day to day. So there is like an activity board. So I would check that out if you're interested in wanting to do any of the things that are available at the resorts. The final resort is Art of Animation. Now, the reason that there was a hiatus between these two, with Pop being built in 2003 and Art of Animation 9 years later in 2012, is that we had a recession in the economy. There was a dip in travel to Disney. They just didn't need the extra value rooms at that time, and so finally, when it came back up, and they're like, "Okay, we need more space," they decided to retheme the entire resort as a separate resort, which I think is honestly was a better choice because that lake is pretty wide. It would have been weird
Yeah.
to me, I think,
I
to keep
can't
it all
see
in.
that being one resort. That would be that's a hike to get
Yeah.
across that bridge.
Yeah, yeah. This resort is slightly smaller than Pop. There are 864 standard rooms. Those are going to be your Little Mermaid rooms. They're basically the 1990s of Art of Animation. You have to walk half a mile to get there. And then the majority of the rooms, 1,120 of the rooms, are family suites that sleep up to 6. So this is a great option for families on somewhat of a budget.
Yeah.
Instead of having to pay for like 2 standard rooms or look into like family suites in a higher cost like category.
And if you want ultimate theming, like this hotel
Yeah.
is ultimate Disney theming.
Yes, it brings the movies to life.
Yeah.
And those movies would be The Little Mermaid in the standard, is the standard rooms. It has its own pool. And then you have Cars, Finding Nemo, and The Lion King. Those are all family suites. Cars has a very small pool with like cozy cone cabanas kind of around it. And then
So cute.
The Lion King doesn't have a pool, but it has like kind of some play areas. There's like a mini elephant graveyard that has like areas to explore. And then the biggest pool on Disney property is the big blue pool in the Nemo themed area, which is the one closest to the lobby building. So if you're looking for not having to walk a long distance, I would say your closest options would be Nemo, probably followed by Lion King, as long as you don't end up on like the mermaid end of that section.
Yeah.
Costs are a little higher here. We're looking at about $225 to $425 for a standard room. So that's like a 2 queen. Now, some of these rooms will have a king in them as well. And if you're doing a family, you're looking at $400 to $800. $800 is going to be during your holidays. It's going to be during Run Disney when room like availability is running low. So if you want to save money, it's good to book early with these rooms.
Yeah.
Again, the square feet is pretty standard. I will tell you this. The first family trip I took as the adult paying for the trip, we spent a majority of it in the Little Mermaid room. And that was me and my husband and my 4-year-old daughter. So she was not very big at the time.
Yeah.
And by the end of our stay there, we wanted to kill each other. It is a very small space. So something to just be mindful of. If you tried to put 4 adults in there, you better all really like each other. That's all I have to say. With the family suites, they are very themed. They do have a lot of like sleeping options. I don't feel like they're as nice of a setup as what Lowe's has to offer with their suites. It gives you more space, it gives you more sleeping room, but I do feel like the value resorts are a good option if you're spending most of your time in the parks, or if you have younger kids on a budget. Like I said, it shares the same type of transportation. It does share the Skyliner with Pop Century, but it does have its own bus, so you don't have to worry about it traveling between different resorts for that. And some of the featured activities here, they have storybook yoga time in the morning. They have family wellness dance class. So it's like family Zumba. I would actually love to see my husband try this. I think it'd be hilarious.
So cute.
They also have their own mosaic craft. And then they have a rotating signature craft. I don't know what it is, but it could be one of those like blind craft activities because those blind boxes are such a big thing right now.
Yeah,
I would say one thing that most people don't know about this, like if you're taking a pool day, this is, I believe, the only Disney World resort that in the Play Disney app, there is a game you can play at the resort that interacts with your phone. I have not played this game, but I have played similar interactive games in the parks with the phone. So I'm going to be down there in September, the very end of September into October, and I kind of want to sneak over. I'm staying at Pop, but I kind of want to sneak over for like an hour and just test this out to see what it's like. Because I like to do that.
Get the lowdown.
So I would say though, my only other thing, I think that Pop Century and Art of Animation, there's a bridge that connects the two, and that's where you walk past the Skyliner. Their shopping is, I think, the best amongst the value resorts. So
I was very impressed.
They just have everything.
Yeah.
So that's the lowdown. I don't know. I think Melinda kind of won this one. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, listen, everybody knows that taking one of these vacations costs an absolute arm and a leg. I think when going to Disney, they focus more on their value resorts because they have more families going that need to take advantage of those value resorts. So I feel like, they really go all in with the Disney theming. They have so many different pools and so many different areas and things like that really add so much value onto those properties because the demand is higher. And so I don't know. I do think this is a tough battle.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't agree with the category that like Cabana Bay is in. But comparing, maybe not the all-star resorts, but comparing Pop Century to a dockside or a surfside, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here a little bit, but I would choose Pop Century.
Yeah.
Look, the Skyliner. Look at the Skyliner.
Yeah, that's
huge.
true.
Transportation is huge.
Mm,
And
yeah.
like I said before, I really would compare Dockside and Surfside to All-Star. I don't know that Dockside and Surfside can stand up against Pop Century and Art of Animation. I really don't think
That's
they can.
true.
So,
And one thing just to keep in mind is that, like, a lot of times when there are room discounts, the more expensive the room, the bigger the discount generally with
yes,
Disney.
or the longer
So
you stay.
Yeah. So something to
Mm-hmm.
consider when you book a Disney trip specifically, if you budget for a value resort and there is a room discount that brings a moderate resort price to a value resort budget, you may want to consider doing a moderate resort because you do get sit down dining. You're generally a little bit closer to the parks, a little bit nicer amenities, bigger room. You get a hot tub. You get like a feature pool with slides if that's something that's really important for your kids. You get a lot more like resort activities. So if you're going to be there a while. So just something to keep in mind. I don't know. Is there anything like discount wise that you can think of with Universal? That's kind of like
Universal
that?
always has their stay more, save more discounts going on. And so those discounts really kick in if you stay longer than like 3 or 4 days. That's when you get the really big discounts. Other than that, obviously they'll have some discounts here and there, but your big discounts are going to be your annual pass holders and your Florida resident, or if you're able to book a military package. Those are going to be your big ones.
Yeah, and there are discounts for annual passes and Florida residents generally, but I can't say that they're available every day of the year for Disney.
Yeah. Universal does a lot more discounts on park tickets than they do on hotels, where I feel like Disney, it's kind of equal between,
Yeah. I wonder,
they do an equal amount of discounts in those different categories.
Yeah. I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that like Disney owns their resorts, whereas like Lowe's runs. Do they run all of the resorts? Or
they do.
like,
Lowe's owns and operates all of the Universal resorts. They just don't have their name on every single resort because Lowe's is bougie and they won't put their name on a resort that has less than 4 stars. So Cabana Bay is still a Lowe's hotel, but you ain't going to see that anywhere. So
I will say, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time in Lowe's hotels because, frankly, where I'm at, they just aren't very prevalent here. But I did stay off-site at Universal one time, and that was the biggest mistake that I ever made. The only saving grace was that I had loyalty perks. So, like, my stay was free with using points. Otherwise, I mean, honestly, even then, they should have paid me to stay there. Like,
you know what? I can say the exact same thing staying off site and going to Disney. I will never again do a Disney trip and not stay in Disney. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's really not. We ended up spending so much more money and we didn't have a choice where we were staying. It was for a work convention. We had to stay at the convention hotel, which happened to be off site. But no, never again. It was obnoxious. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know what? Another thing, though, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in the future when we get into the other hotel categories. Another advantage that Disney has is that some on-property Disney hotels are not owned by Disney. Like Swan and Dolphin Resorts, those are Marriott hotels. If you're a Marriott Bonvoy member, you can use points and earn points at those hotels.
Yeah.
Huge plus.
But you get all the Disney
for that. Are you? Yeah, those are gorgeous hotels.
Yeah. So I think the takeaway is regardless, stay on site.
Stay on site. And I am not just saying that as a travel agent, 100% not. Like, it makes more sense. It makes more sense financially. It makes more sense time-wise and frustration level-wise. You're going to get so much more enjoyment out of your vacation if you stay on site. It just makes things easier. So even if it didn't make sense cost-wise, I think it's still worth it.
Yeah, you do get like the early park entry, but it's only half an hour at Disney, but it's for any of the 4 parks. And the thing too, like, and I want your input on this, but like because I've never stayed offsite at Disney, but when I stayed offsite at Universal, they had a shuttle, but it literally, like, you had to sign up the night before. They had 3 shuttle times, and that was it. And like, it was very restrictive. It was crazy.
I can top that. For the hotel that I stayed at, and I'll call it out, it's the Caribe Royale. This hotel is less than a mile from Disney property. They are technically what is called a Disney Good Neighbor hotel, meaning that they are in certain ways affiliated with Disney. And all over their website, everywhere in their hotel, obviously they're advertising Disney. They're talking about their partnership with Disney. They talk about their shuttle service to get you to Disney. There are 3 shuttles in the morning. There are 2 shuttles in the afternoon. And you cannot, just like you said, you've got to book it the day before. Availability runs out like crazy. You can't bring strollers. Not you have to fold strollers. You can't bring strollers on the shuttle to a Disney park. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I was there on a work trip, but we had our kids. So my husband was doing the vast majority of the work and I had the kids, and I was like, great, every day I'm going to take the kids on the shuttle, take the kids into the park. At that point, I had a 6-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. I think. I don't think he was 3. He wasn't 3 yet because we didn't have to buy him a ticket into Disney. But our plan the whole time, we didn't rent a car. Our plan the whole time was to take these shuttles for me to take the kids and go into the parks all day. We couldn't do that. We should have rented a car at that point because we ended up spending so much money in Ubers trying to get back and forth from the hotel to the parks. We were spending like $100 a day in Ubers to go a mile because Ubers to get into Disney are so expensive. And I had to get the Ubers with a car seat because I was expecting to be able to take a shuttle bus and not have to worry about car seats. It was a nightmare. Just what? Geez. How do you call yourself a Disney Good Neighbor and advertise the shuttle all this? You can't bring a stroller to Disney? What the hell? Obnoxious. I'll never get over it.
So you're saying they're the not so good neighbor hotel.
They were not. It was a beautiful hotel. Their amenities were fantastic, but no, never again.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Anyways.
Oh, my goodness. Well, on that note.
All right, everybody. I think we've both given you reasons to vote for our side and to vote against our side. But we need to know what you guys think. So which one of us do you think scored the most hits with this battle? You can go to Theme Park Throwdown on Facebook and on Instagram and vote in our Who Won poll. And we'll find out the winner in a couple weeks. We'll see what happens. But you can find us at Theme Park Throwdown everywhere on socials. You can also watch video recordings of all of these podcasts if you would like to add to the craziness on YouTube at Theme Park Throwdown. And you can shoot us an email at themeparkthrowdown@gmail.com. If you are planning your next vacation, either to Universal or Disney or anywhere else in the world, you can reach out to either one of us at portkeyvacations.com. You can fill out a quote request form and, we have We have a guest star,
Sorry. Cattail.
cat walking across the screen. You can fill out a quote request form at portkeyvacations.com, request Trisha or I to be your advisor, and we would love to help you out with all things travel. And please check out all of our sister podcasts on the UUOP network. We've got the OGs, the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, the Taste of Universal podcast, the unofficial Universal Great Britain podcast, the Portkey Passport, a Disney podcast for adults, which is going to have an episode dropping really soon with some new hosts. So keep an eye out for that. We've got the theme park duo for your West Coast parks, Rush of Fear, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. And so help me God, if we don't get a house announcement in the next couple weeks, I'm going to explode. We've also got Big Dumb Stuff for all things theme park and amusement park. And finally, you can also check out our network partners, the Fudge Factor on YouTube for all of their theme park vlogs. And that's going to do it finally for this throwdown, you guys. We'll see you next week in the ring. Bye.
Bye.